What happens after the grey list, Mr. Onea? What's next?
Well, when you enter the grey list, you don't come out until you have actioned all the action items that they require you to action as a country.
Okay, let me give you a hypothetical situation. Let's just say me, this la man where me work lo still in gold stuff. Now you work lo working more process below you na. You work lo story one them all not all agencies below you stuff yet na. Meanwhile, me still yet stuff.
Imagine this, if they were back in their own home country and they were doing this. Do you think their government would let them? Panel members, you may agree or disagree, but I think we have a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. We've developed this capacity to develop intelligence in regards to transnational crimes that are being committed in or perpetrated in this country. And this intelligence, if it's sound enough, I would suggest that it identifies the perpetrators, the individuals and the organizations, and perhaps even goes as far to say how it's being perpetrated, these crimes are being perpetrated. So now I think what's happening here, panel members, is this information gets to the relevant organizations, and then for whatever reason those organizations don't take that information and they're not running with it. You know, these organizations are also tasked to protect PNG interest, but for whatever reason those organizations aren't doing that. So that's what we have to find out. We have to find out, why aren't these organizations doing that? Why is there rampant smuggling, trafficking in forestry? Why is there rampant smuggling and trafficking in fisheries, for instance, and now alluvial mining? You know, and each and every time we witness this lack of action, we see ourselves slipping closer and closer to the grey list. What happens after the grey list, Mr. Onea? What's next?
Well, when you enter the grey list, you don't come out until you have actioned all the action items that they require you to action as a country.
So the trend is that we're not actioning any of these action items anyway. There seems to be no urgency at all by any of the agencies to action these action items. So if we're into the grey list now, and if that trend continues, what happens?
One of the things, and this is based on my own experience dealing with countries that have been grey listed through this process, is that because when a country is grey listed, what they do is they demand for the countries to come up with an action plan and very clear deliverables with time frames. So some of those action items we will be required to do an undertaking that it will be done in 6 months, 18 months, 12 months, based on the weight of that action items and how long it may take. But they will also be realistic with those time frames as well. And as a country, we are required to, on a 3-monthly basis, report on the progress of each of those action items. And when I say report, they mean you have to show evidence. Did you investigate this crime? Did you prosecute it? Where is the verdict? Where is the outcome? Is it on open source media? Can I find that? Or can you send me the summary of the court verdict on it? So it's evidence-based, backed report that we will continue to submit, and it's a very intensive process.
Is it fair to say, Wilson, that had these agencies acted on the intelligence that you had given to them, we could have actually prevented ourselves from getting on the grey list? Is that a fair comment?
I think it's a very fair comment.
Okay, thank you.
So basically the grey listing is just acknowledging that our systems are not functioning. That's all it is.
That's correct. Basically, it acknowledges that you have a system that's there, but you need to make it work.
So coming back to, say, central bank, in this particular instance, where we are concerned about this very serious smuggling of alluvial gold, how quickly do you think you can act on it? We've heard that in this one particular case, there's a report that's gone up to management. Am I correct to assume that? And so hopefully there'll be some feedback within 21 days perhaps. And then what happens? Do we revoke this person's license, or do we give them a show cause notice, or what do we do?
Like in what we as a bank, what we are looking at is we want to look at it in terms of a holistic approach, where we want to the report and the recommendation we're doing. The other agencies, they're are also like part of they're playing a role in that smuggling thing. So we also we're doing a recommendation that will also go to them as well to implement. And this dialogue has been going on.
Can I stop you for a minute?
Yeah.
You said some of our agencies are playing a role in this smuggling. Your words. What do you mean by that?
Sorry,
all help him all, all to involve or steal or
if it is allegation, then we really need to like make our recommendation to them, because we've already done some work around that, and this report that will be going, it also it contains those recommendations. So how they will be improving on their side, and what we'll be doing, what we'll be implementing. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, let me give you a hypothetical situation. Let's just say me, this la man where me work lo steal him gold stuff here. Now you work lo working more process blow you na, you work lo story one them all not all agencies blow you stuff yet na. Meanwhile, me steal yet stuff. What's going to say? I'm that person that's stealing this 80,000 ounces of gold. Am I going to stop stealing simply because you people are doing your work? Na ibla story na me lo ibla na only meeting lo ibla na. What's going to happen to this la steal money? What are we going to do with that person in the meantime while you are doing all these things? I'm by Poret lo you mean? I'm by Tanimbel na come up Christian overnight na stop him steal lo. I mean, I'm being sarcastic here, but you understand where I'm going with this. This guy is going to continue doing and by work blame yet. Because I'm sorry also you blog lo meeting staff yet na. Story one them all agencies go come na. Online lo customs too no got house carabus blow lo locking man so and by still carry gold na. I'm sorry also there's la metal detector ya inside detect him gold so and by still working yet. What are we going to do, gentlemen? I'm country blow you me. I'm you blow get a Papua New Guinea and you me lulu blow you me at stuff. What are we going to do to stop these people? Can the central bank recommend to say police or customs or somebody, you know, is it possible for us? We're losing minimum of $300 million a year as it is. That's what we are losing. While we are still going through our processes, we are still losing. You know, me no sem you me working process, but you mean still and by stop and continue yet until we do something. So I'm interested in that action of actually you me holding passive nesla maniana, passive legan bloem na putimem lo bomana, preferably bomana. Me no like lo depotimem hariap, me like mem golo bomana pastor. You understand what I'm saying to you? You me in our lobbies, you mean I me working more decision lobby staff na. Criminally I'm operate outside law office you mean around stuff. I know it's a hard question, but I need an answer that resolves this. Customs just told us they don't know how to sell. Na time mo go use himself lo police or need him OB number. No got OB number okay tupla mania. Tupla man working wrong here tupla runo epinis na passport tasolem customs solim stuff. We just heard from them earlier in the day. You understand what I'm saying? It's no point all of us feeling helpless. Me like sabe straight lo desla police man by holy mem na put him handcuff on tablunge me. Who is the one that's going to do that? Who is going to stop this person from doing whatever he wants in our country when nobody is going to go after him? Who's going to stop him? You bla control him license blunge me na mito to wanda you bla. Ba ibla stop him sina license or ba ibla mingi money.
Thank you, committee member. This particular entity, I think the bank has to take action on. So there are, I think, about 3 options now. Terminate the license, that's the first thing. And then the second thing is, it's not only that entity, but there are also others that are involved in smuggling, of course, which we are aware of, and we've got we've seized the gold and it's in our boat. And the second thing is to the bank to start prosecuting those people, to send a message out to the public that look, we are prosecuting this kind of people. So that's,
let me interrupt you. You are telling us exactly what we already know, what you are supposed to do. What we want to know is what you're going to do now. Okay, you are aware that crimes have been committed. These are crimes. Okay, there's sufficient information here, evidence, that these crimes are being committed. So as public servants, you're duty bound to act on this information. And acting doesn't mean defer the matter to management to deal with. As Governor pointed out, acting means you take action now on behalf of the people of Papua New Guinea. You swore an oath, we all did when we were public servants, to serve without fear or favor. This is where it comes in. This is where you do that. The first thing you should be doing is preventing more crimes from being committed. And the first thing you need to do is suspend that license. And I'm sure there are provisions to suspend that license. If you went and studied those provisions, they have already been met. Suspend that license immediately. That's the first thing you do. And then you investigate these offenses that have been committed by this company. And then you work with your agencies. Police in this instance. Prosecutor comes later. The investigation part has to happen first. Investigate. As a multi-agency entity, you've got this company is also breaching company laws, which IPA is responsible for. This company is also breaching labor laws, which Labor Department is responsible for. This company is breaching migration laws, which migration is responsible for. All these agencies need to be brought in immediately. They need to be sat down at a table. This information needs to be given to them, and action has to be taken immediately. What you're doing is taking this information and writing a report to your boss, to wait for your boss to respond and tell you how to do your job. And then when the report comes back to you, then you're going to act on that report. So how long will this take? Meanwhile, the gold smuggling will continue. That's the point here, gentlemen. So you've got a wonderful tool here, FASU. We're very fortunate that our intelligence in this regard is robust, thanks to the efforts undertaken in 2017. Great. The enforcement mechanisms appear to be very weak. Prosecution is non-existent. Why? Because the enforcement mechanisms have not kicked in, they're weak. So we have to do something about this. And that's what we're proposing here. We're urging you to take action. So, I mean, the next step is head of secretariat. We will be writing to your heads of departments and saying, you guys need to act on this immediately on behalf of the 10 million people of this country. We have an invasive character in our country now, and they're working and operating with impunity. Imagine this, if they were back in their own home country and they were doing this. Do you think their government would let them? I guarantee you they wouldn't. Imagine this, if you as a Papua New Guinean were acting like this in their country, would they let you do this? Would they allow you to operate while they write a letter to management and wait for management to respond whenever they want to? What would they do? If you were, say, in Singapore now, or in Hong Kong, or in China, and you were committing these breaches, what do you think the governments of those countries would do to you? Let me ask you. They would not hesitate. Within less than, the moment they found out that crimes were being committed, they would act. That's what we have to do. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We have SIPA here, and